It's Thursday, December 17th, and you're watching The Great Lost Rewatch. Today we're talking about The Man from Tallahassee. This is obviously a Locke-centric episode, and the big tease for this episode was that we were going to finally find out how John Locke got in a wheelchair. In his flashback, a young man named Peter comes to find Locke and ask him about giving his kidney to this guy because he thinks that this guy is taking advantage of his mother. Locke lies and says it was an anonymous donation, but Locke goes to find Anthony Cooper and says, "You ruined my life. I'm not going to let you do this to this family. You have to give up this con and leave town." And then Peter shows up dead. So Locke goes to confront Daddy Cooper, and yet again, Locke believes one of his lies, and as a result, Locke is pushed out the window. And we all thought stealing his kidney was bad. On the island, we pick up where the last episode left off, Jack looking very comfortable in Otherville.
This is going to be more complicated than we thought.
Saeed, Kate, and Locke wait until the cover of darkness to go to talk to Jack, and Kate goes into where they're holding Jack, and Jack is playing the piano. And you see that look that Kate gives him? Like, she's just enamored with him, and she, like, re-falls in love with him all over again or something. It's musicians, man. But of course the others are watching, and they take Saeed and Kate captive. They keep Kate in a sort of rec room, and Jack goes to visit her, saying, "I really wish you hadn't come back here to me." And then he, like, leans in and whispers,
"But I will come back here for you."
Now, at this point in the show, I was definitely a skater, but man, that was really romantic. While all this is going on, Locke goes to Ben and holds him at gunpoint, and Ben says, "I can tell you where Jack is," and Locke says, "I'm not looking for Jack, I'm looking for the submarine." And they hide in his closet, and then Ben says to Richard, "Get me the Man from Tallahassee."
Man from Tallahassee, what is that? Some kind of code?
No, John, unfortunately we don't have a code for "there's a man in my closet with a gun to my daughter's head." Although we obviously should.
Locke sends Alex to go get Saeed's backpack because that has the C4 explosives. And then Ben starts talking about how it was so hard for him when he was being held prisoner in the Swan to not grill Locke about the fact that he came to this island in a wheelchair and how he had no business walking around. And Locke says, "Well, I'm here now, ask away." And Ben immediately starts grilling him. So this happened immediately as soon as you got here, and just all sensation returned. And Locke is just like, what now? Ben and Locke are trying to totally one-up manipulate each other. It's just, it's a really, really great scene. Anytime Messrs. O'Quinn and Emerson get together and do a scene, it's just pure magic. Ben says to Locke, "I can show you things on this island, things that you've never even imagined could be possible." And he goes on about the magic box. Somewhere on this island there is a large box, and whatever you wanted to be in it, that's what would be in it.
I hope that box is big enough to imagine yourself up a new submarine.
Locke calls Ben and the others hypocrites because they're living in basically a suburb on the island, and they are not following, like, the ways of nature or whatever. And Ben says to Locke, "You think you know more about this island than I do? How come?" And Locke says,
"Because you're in the wheelchair, and I'm not."
BAM! Alex returns with the C4, and she then shows Locke where the submarine is, and on the way, Danielle gets a little peek at what Alex looks like now. We don't see Locke actually put the C4 on the submarine, but we see him walking up the dock in very wet clothing, while Julia and Jack and Tom and Ryan, a group of others are walking towards it, and they take Locke prisoner. Jack's like, "What are you doing here, John?" And he just says, "I'm sorry, Jack," and then kaboom, the submarine blows up. And Jack gives a "I am so pissed at you" face. Locke is being held prisoner in some kind of basement area, and Ben comes to talk to him saying, "Thank you, John. You were the answer to my prayers. Blowing up the submarine really saved me a lot of headaches. And then, as a reward, I'm going to show you what came out of the magic box." It wasn't, like, completely mind-blowingly shocking to me. Still a really good ending, and I think really wonderfully executed, don't get me wrong. But the first time I watched this episode, and Ben said the Man from Tallahassee, and the fact that this is a Locke flashback, and Anthony Cooper is so prominently featured in it, I kind of went, oh, well, I think Anthony Cooper is the Man from Tallahassee. And sure enough, he was. And that's where we're going to leave it today, with Anthony Cooper being on the island. Liz, you're talking about expose tomorrow. That is all yours. You can have it. So I'll see you then.
We're gonna need to watch that again.
Actually, really quickly before I go, I'd like to talk about the magic box again. What the? monster is